There was a good straight week where I was getting worried watching movies because they were actually good in my eyes. I was being entertained. They seemed to have focus, a story, a narrative that ran through the entire film. They were competently produced. But thankfully, Disney has come back around and they said, Adam, don't worry, bud. Things have not changed that much. We have a film for you today. It's Captain America, Brave New World. It certainly is. And today I have a spoiler-free review for you. Cinema's back. Let's begin. As I talk about this, I guess we'll call it a film, if you wouldn't mind grabbing your shield and just vroom, king, 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 bouncing it off a few walls right into that subscribe button, I would appreciate it. Maybe even aim for that notification bell. I don't know where it's at anymore. And that way these will show up in your feed. Okay, let's talk about this shit show. CABNW, or Captain America Brave New World for short, takes place somewhere in this Marvel timeline that definitely adds up and makes a lot of sense. But they have decided in their infinite wisdom that they're going to take major plot points from the Eternals, that Disney Plus TV show Bucky and Falcon, or whatever the hell it was called 5 years ago, and The Incredible Hulk. One of the first films in the MCU that I would imagine almost everyone has forgotten about entirely. Not to get too deep into the story with its intrigue, its espionage, and its nonsensical nature, because honestly, I don't even know where to begin and end with this film. It makes no sense. Stuff happens, you're not really sure why. The villain looks dumb as shit. There's new characters tagging along, almost all of them are awful. Although I did like the tiny new Black Widow they have. She's like 5'2", looks to weigh about 75 pounds soaking wet. Naturally, she's gonna kick all sorts of ass in a believable way. Genuinely though, I did actually like her. I thought she was funny. She was just kind of fun, like this little tiny thing, running off walls, spinning around people. Zzz! It's just fun. At this point, you just have to laugh about it. But I digress. Basically, what we have here is our new Captain America, played by Anthony Mackie, who he's easily the best part of this film. I think he does a good job. Everyone else, not so great. But Anthony's at least attempting to put in some acting work. And he has some big shoes to fill, coming off of the Chris Evans movies. He's going to find himself in a tough spot. The president is going to come to him and say, hey man, I want to work with you side by side. Perhaps maybe we could look into opening up another Avengers down the road. Let's just be buddies. But then immediately in the next scene, he's pissed at him and he wants him like ousted from the entire government. But then 10 minutes later, oh, just kidding, we're friends again, but then also go to hell. This movie is just at odds with itself. And our new Captain America seems at odds with himself too. It's pretty clear he should have taken the super serum when they had that TV series where he elected not to for some dumbass reason. So basically every time a big new action scene fires up, he's sitting there kicking himself going, I probably should have taken the serum. I probably should have taken the serum. Good thing I have this flight suit on to get around the fact that Anthony Mackie is supposed to be a regular dude. Highly skilled, highly trained, but just a regular guy all the same, be able to do the things he is able to achieve here, which are incredibly impressive and make absolutely no sense whatsoever. They put him in a super suit of sorts that has Wakandan technology, it can absorb blows, it appears that he gets enhanced strength from the suit, but outside of that, he's essentially still a lesser version of Iron Man, and he's going up against some pretty crazy odds. It's no secret that Harrison Ford is in this. He's taking over for William Hurt, R.I.P. Hurt previously played the character Thaddeus Ross in a few of the different Avengers-type films, including the first Incredible Hulk movie. Now Ford is taking over. I don't honestly know why we had to bring this character back. There isn't a lot to him, at least in the, cinematic world. Ford could have been playing anyone else. The script tries and fails, I believe, several times trying to make the connection back to the original movie, but he doesn't look even close to William Hurt. So the disconnect is pretty wild. And also Anthony Mackie's character, Sam Wilson, has virtually nothing to do with Ross. Outside of, they bring up the Accords in Avengers, whatever, Age of Ultron or some shit. It's just so far disconnected from everything else that it just felt completely unnecessary. Speaking of useless characters, we gotta talk about Giancarlo Esposito for a second. Hilarious inclusion. He plays Sidewinder. I don't actually know what he is in the movie. A terrorist, a guns dealer, drugs. It's really hard to know. I know that he was screwed over on a deal, and that's basically his entire character for the entire film. I was screwed on the deal. The guy didn't show up. I'm gonna get my revenge. This guy didn't show up. I was screwed over on the deal. And he has this gruff way of speaking. I really like this guy as Gus, obviously, in Breaking Bad, but since then, his agent or his deal with Disney has not been doing him any favors. He was also in Megalopolis. Just an embarrassing set of films coming out by this guy, which is just sad. His talents are being wasted here. And the scenes featuring him feel so out of place with everything else. I would imagine these are where a lot of the reshoots came in. One in particular made me laugh pretty hard when he confronts Captain America on the streets, and he's got this big gun, and he's just like, he looks foolish holding the thing. The kickback is hilarious. The whole scene and the choreography, terribly done. But easily the worst addition for me in this film is Torres, who's going to be Sam's right-hand man. Danny Ramirez plays this character in such a fanboyish way, you can't help but cringe every time he speaks. I can't wait to be the new Falcon. Hey, Captain, on your left. Member that? Yeah. He doesn't say that in the film, thankfully, but it just kept popping into my brain. So what we get here is thankfully a shorter MCU film. It's under 2 hours, mercifully. Bad story, worse characters outside of Sam Wilson and Isaiah Bradley, who once again reprises his role from that TV series like 1,000 years ago. He's really good in this as well. Unfortunately, his character is going to just get less and less to do as the film progresses. But if a couple of the key ingredients to a good film aren't working, we can always fall back on the tried and tested action scenes. What do those bring to the table? Well, that's where things are at least somewhat okay. Not awful, not anything amazing by any means. You get a few good shots with the shield that somehow makes less sense as these movies go on. It's not a boomerang. How is this thing able to go all over? There is a lot of aerial combat in this one. That stuff all looked pretty good. There is some hand-to-hand fighting that's not so great, one of which we did get early in a clip. I think it looks worse online than it does in the final product. It's almost like they sped the thing up. But oh my god, it looks like they're fighting underwater. It's just so slow moving. We do have to talk about the Red Hulk in the room. Now, I suppose this is a spoiler if you've avoided all trailers for this film or posters or pretty much any sort of promotional material, then I don't know why you would watch this video. I don't know why you would watch this review and think, he's definitely not going to spoil the fact that the Red Hulk is in this movie. It's everywhere. This is, of course, going to be the big fight of the film. It's a little longer than I thought it was, which is nice, but it's still a very short section of movie. Don't expect a lot of Red Hulk in this, I guess is what I'm getting at. The big takeaway for me here is this was kind of presenting itself like a new Winter Soldier for the next generation of Avengers. It is not. And it certainly is not as fun or slick as Civil War. In fact, I think Black Widow is better than this one too. It's trying to be all of those films, smarter, sharper, has a mysterious edge to it, but it all boils down to such a stupid premise. And the way the villain implements his plan is so vague, so ridiculous, and you could so easily dismantle it if anyone even gave two shits about this film, but I don't really think anyone does at the end of the day. So unfortunately, Captain America Brave New World is nothing brave, and it's nothing new that we haven't seen a million times over from this franchise. Watchable? Yeah, it is. My 12-year-old son actually liked it quite a bit. He gave it a 7 out of 10, but I think it's because his sister was crapping all over it, so he dropped it down a little, which is unfortunate. I don't want to sour any younger audience members from going and having a good time. My 16-year-old daughter was not impressed at all. I think I was between them. While there is a lot of bad in this film, a lot of things don't make sense. It clearly had a lot of rewrites and reshoots during this conveyor belt Disney process. It did keep me from falling asleep, and sadly, that's the best praise I can give this one. Now, not a spoiler, but if you are wondering if there is an end credit scene, yes, there is, and also no, there is not. There's one at the way end. If you want to sit around and wait, prepare to be completely disappointed, because I'm gonna go out on a limb and confidently say that this has the shittiest end credit scene of all time. It's truly terrible and embarrassing, but I'll get into that more if I do a spoiler video on this. Make sure to subscribe and like this video if you want to see more. And if you want that spoiler video where I go into more detail about the plot points, whatever ones I can even remember, most of my brain has fallen out at this point from these films, I will gladly try to recap it though if these numbers do well on this one. And that's all I have. This will probably go out on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you couples out there. And to those of you that are alone, well, maybe fix yourself, because it's definitely a you problem. No, I'm joking. Good for you. Stay single. Stay safe. But for all of you out there, I would just like to point out I am on Cameo. So if you're looking for a Valentine's Day wish, maybe for yourself or for a significant other, a friend, a mom, whatever, just go out to Adam Does Movies on Cameo and say, hey, Adam, send me some love. Send so-and-so some love, or maybe you want me to say some catchphrases, serenade you with a song by Limp Bizkit. Whatever you want, I can usually provide. And hopefully I see you there. All right, take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge. Appreciate your time. Thanks.